You've heard me say before that when my children were small, Ann and I used to read them a book called Topsy, Turvy World by Josh McDowell. The book's premise basically was telling kids that everything is topsy-turvy. It's upside down. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. Never more have we seen it than we do today. Just think about some of the things that we deal with in our culture today. Law enforcement. It's almost fashionable for people to be against law enforcement. You have looters who are considered heroes when they burn down people's personal businesses and destroyed their lives. We have government officials that have gone crazy. We have little boys and little girls who are not only confused about their gender, but we're told by teachers and many doctors that it's okay. And beyond that, they're wanting to teach that to children in the schools. And now we're at a place where they're inching closer and closer to trying to force churches and Christian schools and Christian preschools to teach these things. Everything is topsy-turvy. When you're in a world like that, it's important that we keep our perspective, that we keep looking up to Christ in everything that we do. When Peter wrote in 2 Peter chapter 3, he says, "But in keeping with this promise," and notice this, that the return of Christ is a promise that is given to us. In keeping with this promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. He says in that place, when we get to heaven, not sin, but righteousness will reign. He goes on and says, "So then, dear friends, since you are looking forward to this." And he goes on in verse 14 and says, "So then, dear friends, since you are looking forward to this, make every effort to be found spotless and blameless and at peace with Him." Notice that. He says, since you are looking forward to this. To what? To the return of Christ. Everything that we see going on in our world today should make us look forward to heaven. It should make the thought of heaven that much sweeter. I told you that when I call my dad, very often when I say, "How are you doing?" he'll say, "Well, son, at my age you don't buy green bananas." And I usually will joke with him and say, "Well, don't be looking forward to death." He says, "Son, I'm not making it happen any sooner than it has to, but I want you to know I'm actually kind of excited about heaven." He says, "This world is looking less and less like the world that I knew it, and heaven is getting sweeter all the time." I pray that every one of us, when we think about heaven, it's getting sweeter all the time. That more and more this world is becoming less and less our home, and we become more and more homesick for heaven. Because that's our future, and that's the promise that Christ has given us. By the way, these last few weeks we've seen more and more people coming out and worshiping with us and saying it's just so good to be back in church again, and we want to welcome everybody. I'd love to see when Easter comes, more and more people again that would be out. Looking forward to that. Other than that, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching.